Hey, it's Microchasm, back with some Sil-Q. So we are at 650 feet, and we're gonna go down to 700. See what we find. At 700 feet, we're starting to get into, like, transitioning into the end game. We're seeing these Rauko enemies. We're gonna be seeing more of them and some harder ones. I should be letting him walk to me. There we go. We're going to be seeing some more dragons, some more uniques especially. So I think we've got some challenges ahead of us. One thing I did want to mention was that Bill Peterson on the Angband Forums pointed out to me that I don't need to take stuff out of my inventory, drop it on the floor, pick up food, eat the food, and then pick up the inventory item again. I can just eat stuff off the floor. So let's try that. Should be Shift E. Shift U. Huh. I don't know. I guess maybe. Oh, I see. Okay. I just need to swap the floor. Okay, so you press the negative symbol. That allows you to eat something off the floor. Okay, cool. So we just learned that in real time. Another creeping horror. We saw a few of these last video. We handled them without any issue. Problem. Some cat warriors. They almost always spawn in packs, so expect to see some more. And a forge. Yeah, I was thinking, how am I gonna continue this character? What do I need to be thinking about? What abilities do I want to take? One thing I was thinking was, do we want to take more smithing? Because we might want to take something like armor smith. Let's see our armor. We've got the Cloak of the Traveler. Just a regular kite shield. And it'd be nice to make like a Mithril kite shield or sorry, just a Mithril shield or I mean, our kite shield is pretty good. The numbers on it are pretty good already. We've got this great helm. Yeah, we've got some like enchanted items, but they're not great. So I wouldn't mind making my own stuff necessarily. Another thing we could do is make some new jewelry. Give ourselves a little bit more smithing and just make like a ring of accuracy or evasion. Accuracy just gives you additional to your melee, basically. And evasion plus to your evasion, so it helps you evade, helps you get criticals, helps you avoid having critical hits on yourself. So that might be worth it. I'm always a little wary of spending too much experience on new abilities instead of just improving my stats and that kind of thing. These Kemen Rauko can be a little annoying. They're resistant to critical hits. If you're a character that's relying on critical hits, I think I mentioned this last episode, it can be difficult to kill these guys. It might even be worth carrying around a heavier weapon just for this kind of monster. It also resists fire, cold, and poison, so we're not getting our extra dice. And he came back. So we were kind of surrounded. One thing I did want to mention is I said in the last video that it's not a big deal to be able to remove rubble. Usually it's not. Usually the type of rubble that spawns in the dungeon is not that big of a deal. Like it might prevent you from going down some paths or something. But it's not a big deal most of the time. But there are times when rubble can be a big deal, and that's when something is creating rubble, usually, like a Kamen Rauko. So once you get to a certain point in the game, it's really recommended that you have like a shovel or a Baddock, or a Song of Freedom, something like that, because you don't want to be caught in a situation where Kamen Rauko brings down the ceiling and makes some rubble, and you just get trapped in a room and there's nothing you can do about it. I do like this Ring of Protection. I'd like to wear that. So let's take another look at our inventory, see if there's anything we don't feel that we especially need. You know, we're gonna have a lot of perception, and we already have the True Sight helmet that we're still wearing. So I don't think True Sight's that big of a deal for us. And same with Clarity. I think we're gonna drop the Clarity potions. I think we're just not going to need them. And we'll put on this ring, and then we'll just do ring swapping when we need to. Also, we found a Mithril Shield. Let's try it out. That's exciting. And a Kite Shield. Both of them are enchanted, so let's try this Mithril Shield. It did not identify for us. Let's just go ahead and use Understanding on the shield, because I'd like to know what it does. Shield of Frost, okay. I mean, that's good. I'm glad to have a Shield of Frost and to have a Mithril Shield. Resistance to fire. But we kind of already have sources of resistance to fire. It's -1 1d6, and our Kite Shield is actually -1 1d7. This one is a little bit lighter, 4 pounds, but we have heavy armor user, so having heavier armor is better in a way. But on the other hand, we have 61 pounds of armor right now. So heavy armor user gives you +1 to your AC for every 15 pounds. So we just don't want to drop below 60. Really is the thing. I mean, it's not even that big of a deal, but we're not even losing any armor from heavy armor use, because we're still within that interval of 15. Let's try this this new Kite Shield. It is -2 +2 1d7, which means I think it'll identify, because it has a direct effect. That +2 is +2 to evasion. Shield of Deflection. Let's double check it. Yeah, well, it doesn't actually say, but in the description, but it's +2 to your evasion. I mean, that's pretty good, because it's a -2 to your evasion, and then it's +2 1d7. I think we're actually going to go for this one. Kind of surprisingly. You know, finding a Mithril Shield of Frost is great. And normally that's what I would go for. But I think right now I like this shield better. And in fact, I'm pretty happy to have this shield. We might even end up taking a parry, which is something we had, or not parry, sorry, blocking, which is something we had thought about. Doubles the protection roll. Yeah, so I mean, it could give you anything from 2 to 7 additional AC. Or 1 to 7 additional AC, 2 to 14 AC in total from the shield. I think we will take it, but maybe not right now. So there was 2 other things that I was going to mention. Well, we already mentioned Rebel, and we mentioned eating food off the floor. So that was actually 2 of the 3 things. Let's first deal with this Staff of Revelation. So I mentioned Staves of Revelations in the last video as being something that I would like to have. Let's take a look at this Oath Wraith. You can touch to cause hunger. You know, we've talked about hunger a fair bit, and I'm just not worried about losing hunger. In another circumstance, if you can't handle them, it could be an issue. Maybe if there are two of them and they're hitting you and you're having a hard time killing them and they're making you hungry, it could be an issue, but that kind of situation is pretty rare. You know, I think what we might actually do now is replace our Great Helm of True Sight, even though we dropped those Clarity Potions. And kept to the True Sight, True Sight Potions. Maybe we'll go back for them. Maybe. I'm not really that worried about it. If we put on the Dwarf Mask, then we'll have like a passive resistance to fire. And then we'll drop the Helm of True Sight. I really don't want to drop Rage or any type of healing. But I would like to have Revelations. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't want to worry too much about the True Sight situation. We'll take some more stuff from the Perception Tree. Like maybe we'll take Keen Senses to give that bonus to spotting invisible creatures. I think we'll see how it goes. See if invisible creatures pose a problem for us. So as I'm attacking these Kemen Rauko, I want to see what my attacks are looking like. Yeah, because they're resistant to criticals, I'm not sure if that means that it's literally impossible to get criticals, but I think that is what it means. So we're just getting 1d12, which is really not great. So I'm trying to think what can we do about them. Yeah, sometimes they create rubble like this, and I just kind of leave it. You know, it's blocking them off, and it's making sure nothing's gonna come from this direction. So, yeah, I mean, problem solved. Amulet of Grace. Amulets of Grace are really good, but it's not really that Grace heavy of a build. Look, we're not relying on Grace for the sake of songs. I mean, we are using a song, but an Amulet of Grace would just give us +1 to our song. Grace is more important, I think, when you're doing something like maybe you're using a lot of staves and you need Grace to up your will. Yeah, I don't know. Let's eat this off the floor. That's the herb of sustenance. Might as well. Yeah, I think it's like worth considering Amulet of Grace, but in this particular case, I don't think we're going to use it. It's kind of interesting that it's there. I mean, if we do smithing, we could go pick it up, put it on. That'll give us a little bit of boost to our smithing once we're done smithing that item. I mean, let's take a look. Let's take a look, because we already have Jeweler. I know we're not going to be able to make like a ring of +2 accuracy. We can make a +1. I don't know if +1's really even worth it. Oh, you know what we don't have though is we don't have a ring of warmth. I do want that, but that's not hard to make. We have this other staff of... Oh, we already had a staff of revelations. Man, I don't remember getting that. we're just gonna keep one of them, and we're gonna pick up this other staff of understanding, just because I like having staffs of understanding so much. We can't really reliably sit back and get free hits against that serpent the way we can against other enemies, because serpents don't necessarily move towards you to attack. They might sit back, they might do a breath weapon. So let's make so we were gonna make a ring of warmth, resistance to cold. Of course, we don't have inventory space because we're always worried about inventory space. So we have a couple things that are doing similar things here. Like Majesty and Dismay are kind of similar, and warding as well as a way of evading monsters. So let's drop the warding. Again, I never remember to use it. It's only useful, I mean, you can only ward a single tile at a time. So it's really especially useful in hallways, which we're not always necessarily going to be in. Certainly, I can imagine a situation where it's useful, but you know, you have to sort of make compromises. So I think this will be okay. So we were blinded, which is funny because I just took off that Helm of True Sight, and now we're seeing the consequences. It wasn't that big of a deal though, in that particular case, but it does kind of make me a little bit worried. We did keep the True Sight potions, right? It was the clarity that we did not keep. So if we get blinded and it is a big deal, we can just take the True Sight potion, and we have 6 of them. I guess I like to have the passive resistance to fire, and by passive I mean it's not, we don't have to swap. Okay, so we've got some nice amulets here. This is Amulet of Grace +0. If you find something that's a +0, it means that it just preserves that stat, so it stops you from having that stat be reduced by monsters. But it doesn't actually add to the stat. So the Amulet of the Blessed Realm increases your grace by 1, sustains your grace, and lights the dungeon. This is an amulet that I like a lot, like on pacifists especially. But I don't think we're going to use it. As we said before, we're not necessarily as interested in grace as we are in some other stats. But this is an Amulet of Constitution. So if we wear this, our Constitution goes up to 71, because we're also wearing gloves of wear the gloves, the gauntlets of Iron Fist, which increase your Constitution by 1. So we've got 7 Constitution, and that it's so nice to have 7 Constitution. I think in general I prefer to have an Amulet of Constitution instead of an Amulet of Regen. They kind of both have the same function as far as giving you more health. In Regen, it's extremely useful in prolonged fights, but having the additional Constitution just to start with is really helpful, especially if you like use a potion of Constitution. Gives you a bonus of +3 Constitution, so then we have 10, which means we're just gonna have like a huge amount of Constitution. It's kind of like, it's more effective if we already have a lot. Yeah, it's a bit of a tough decision, but I think that's what we're gonna do. We want to be walking around with a lot of Constitution, and we do have Song of Staunching already, so we have access to regen. So we have a maple staff here. It's a staff that we have not used. Let's see. Let's use the Staff of Understanding. Staff of Foes. Since we have so little room, we're just gonna drop it. Yeah, we got blinded again briefly there. Now, what we can do to stop us from getting, because now we've gotten blinded several times on this floor. What we can do to stop getting blinded so much is to increase our perception, which is something we wanted to do anyway. So maybe that's what we should do. Maybe we should be really investing in perception to help out our concentration ability and to stop from getting blinded now that we've dropped True Sight. But we do have 5,300 experience, so let's see, have we done this whole floor? No. I think in this case I will attempt to do more of the floor because this is the first time that we are doing this depth, and our minimum depth is at 700, but you know, presumably it sort of rolled over to 700 fairly recently. So let's get rid of that rubble and we'll check out this area. Self-knowledge is not too useful yet. This area is blocked off by chasms. Oh yeah, so I mentioned that there were 3 things I wanted to talk about. One of them was the rubble, one of them is eating things off the floor, and there was one other thing, and that is the Angband ladder. So as we go down to 750 feet, I just wanted to mention the Angband Forums and the Angband ladder. So the ladder is for posting character files. So well, you can even post a character file before your character's won or before they've died. You can just at any time. It could be a character in progress. It could be a character that you think is interesting. It could be a character that you're looking for feedback on how to continue. Or you could just post the character for the purpose of, you know, sort of participating in the community. I think it's something that's worth doing. I think it's good for people to see what other people are doing, to learn from them, and to have like a conversation about you know, about the game. This Kemen Rauko is creating so much rubble and is like you know, actually creating walls. Oh, can we not? Let's sing freedom. Yeah, it doesn't clear. So we actually got trapped in a room here. That is so rare that I didn't even think about the fact that it was happening. So we're in this tiny little room. Also our grace was reduced somehow. Let's just eat lip boss. So yeah, we have to go down this this chasm because we only have a shovel. We don't have a mattock. There's a type of wall that you can actually, I'm not sure about the using the mattock on walls. I don't remember. I know if you have a mattock of Belagos, you can use it on wall tiles. But yeah, we're just gonna go through this chasm, which is really potentially an issue. You know, well, so let's be nice and careful about it, and I'm sure it'll be fine. So what we're gonna do is actually use the Staff of Revelations, and we're gonna try to find our way up, which this up shaft actually kind of saves us because it goes up 100 feet. So we just went down 100 feet. This will bring us back up 100 feet. So once we go through there, we should be fine. Now, we've encountered a Wraith. And Wraiths are extremely scary. I've mentioned them in the past. And this is one of those things, like, this is how runs end. You have something bad happen. you have to go, you fall down a false floor, or some kind of exceptional circumstance occurs, and you fight something that's too hard for you, and you die. So this is like, I'm on extreme watch right now for not losing this character. I just want to see, does it say that it's fast? I can't remember. No, it doesn't. So I'm going to really take this seriously. I'm going to use a quickness potion. I'm going to sing Staunching. I'm going to use a dexterity potion, I think. Our light level is pretty high, so I think we should have darkness resistance, because we have a Feanorian lamp and we also have inner light. Let's try to get our hit on him when he comes to attack. So we did 5 damage. Then 3 damage. You miss. We knocked him back. 4 damage. Throughout go. And they can also hit the darken. We're so close to this upshaft, but there's also an enchanted forge. Wow. I wanted to make this point about the ladder, but I think we have to get out of this situation first. The problem is with these monsters coming to me, if I try to retreat, I might retreat into another crowd of monsters. So I think, oddly enough, I'm gonna actually step upwards to sort of plug this corridor and just have one-on-one. I'm also using all of my voice to sing Staunching, even though we have full health. So I'm actually gonna stop singing. And this is a good moment to point out the fact that stopping a song is a free action. So it doesn't cost you a turn to stop singing something. It does cost a turn to start singing. And let's take blocking. Let's just up our protection a bit. And let's get a hit in. If we start to take damage, it did 6 points. Yeah, they're doing a lot of damage, so let's take healing herb. Let's use dexterity. We have them at less than half health. There's another Wraith. We're gonna use Herb of Rage. There's also Troll Guard. Yeah, they're doing a lot of damage to us. We're gonna take healing. We're actually gonna heal again. And we're going to use Constitution. And we have a lot of Constitution. The rage is over and the Wraith has come from behind. There are 2 Wraiths now. Another Herb of Rage. Took a lot of damage there. I wanted to just pass my turn so that they would move towards me and I would get my free hit, but They did a lot of damage. Finding these 2 Wraiths right away. Now, one option we have that I probably should have done right away is let's use quickness. I don't like, there's kind of this sunken cost fallacy where I've started fighting them and I've been using a lot of consumables, and I've been using a lot of consumables just to, I mean, you could see how much damage they were doing, just to be really safe. But let's just run away. Like, yeah, no reason to fight them. If I defeated them, they don't drop items, so all I'm getting is like a small bit of experience. Not at all worth the potential for losing the character. And now we're back to 750 feet. So I think we're a lot safer. Let's use these special arrows. Might as well, just for fun. So, okay, I think we're good to talk a bit about the ladder. So yeah, you should definitely check out the ladder, even if you don't feel like posting to it. You can see characters built by really good players. There are some really impressive Morgoth killing characters, for instance, and you can see how they, you know, build a character that's strong enough to kill Morgoth. You can see some like pacifist characters and see how people build pacifist. There's some really interesting characters, like there's one by someone who had an Edain character who killed Morgoth, and he really did a lot of min-maxing to be able to fight Morgoth safely on an Edain, which is a fairly weak type of character. That's an interesting one. Recently, Quirk posted a game where he won as a pacifist without taking any stealth, which is really cool. He was trying this out. I think the idea was based on a character by a player named Wiwaxia. And the idea is that you take Elbereth and you make everything run away, and then you take Song of Thresholds to ward the doors, sort of trap monsters behind them. And yeah, just 0 stealth. I mean, it's really like a conduct build, by which I mean, if he had taken stealth, the game would have been a lot easier. So not taking stealth is just sort of a way to try something new and different and interesting. And yeah, he was able to get a win like that, which is very cool. I believe he used a Horn of Force to knock the crown off of Morgoth's head. So yeah, after coming back up from 800, things were a lot easier. We are getting into this situation with these Chem and Rauka where they're really difficult to take out because they're resistant to criticals, as I have been saying. But you know, we have not been using a Song of Slaying. So that's one of those things where I'm just forgetting, mostly because I'm talking, but also because I don't know, it can sometimes be difficult to remember the little things. These grotesque as well. They're not like a normal monster. They don't attack you. Resist fire, cold, and poison. It cannot be critically hit. And it always just like follows you around. So it just sort of sits there, not doing anything. But then if you like walk around a corner, it's back staring at you, like the angels and Doctor Who. And the problem with them is that because we're a critical, or more of a critical kind of character, we are not going to be able to do a lot of damage to it. Its defense is 8d4, so it's likely, and it also resists cold, so it's likely going to resist all of our damage. So if we get into a room where it's blocking the only exit, then we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Sometimes you can take it out with something that's like heavier, like a Maddock, like a heavy weapon kind of build where your damage is not based on criticals. So like something like this bastard sword. We do have potions of strength, so if we took a potion of strength, we would have 6 strength. We might want to have, like, it'd be nice to find a Maddock or make one, but we'd have to take armorsmith or weaponsmithing, I mean. So yeah, we're not necessarily going to just find one randomly. So we're going to drop these arrows. I'm not using arrows that much. The only reason I picked up the special ones is just like if I shoot them at something and it happens to identify, I'll get 50 experience for identifying it. We're going to type asterisk for the quantity, which just drops all of them. And we're going to pick up this bastard sword. It's not the ideal weapon for this, but it's the one that we found right away. 2 potions of quickness back to back is super nice because we used a couple dealing with those Wraiths. And hopefully if we do get into a situation where we're completely trapped by these grotesques, we'll be able to escape it with the bastard sword. Something like this great axe would be even better. This is a cold drake. You do really have to be careful when you're fighting dragons. It can terrify, confuse, or entrance you. I think our willpower is not that high. Let's bring it up just a bit. Let's see, is there anything else we want to do? We've taken so little from the perception tree. I just want to show you Bane real quick. So this gives you an extra dice to attack against a certain type of monster. So you can choose like Rauko or Wraiths or Trolls. We might actually choose Rauko, because this would actually help us with the Chem and Rauko situation, because we would get 2d11, which would be enough to overcome their armor, even though we're not getting our criticals. Or we're also not getting our +1 dice for the cold brand. And also there are a lot of really powerful Rauko uniques, so that would help us to fight them. Another one is Serpent is good. Serpents have, a lot of armor. They can be really powerful. They have breath attacks. And then dragons. I mean, we're gonna fight a dragon now. They have breath attacks. They're very strong. There are dragon uniques in the game, so we might want to take one of these. But let's deal with this situation first. So the question is, do we want to fight this? It's a young cold drake. I think we probably will fight them. We're going to use the Ring of Warmth instead of Venom's End. And we're going to wait a turn. He walked towards us. We got our free attack. Hit him. We did 10 damage. Of course, we're not getting our +1 dice for Cold Brand because resistant to cold, being a cold drake. We took some hits there, so let's step back. Let's not fight too many monsters at once. Let's close that door and heal just a bit. We're gonna come back out. We're gonna sing Slaying. Took 17 damage. Oh, the fact that there's a door here is nice. He stepped into the door. As we walk down this hallway, he can hit us with a breath attack. And we've not really done any damage. We're gonna close this door and heal. We're fighting a serpent without even realizing it here. But another serpent. The only reason I really want to fight that Drake is because I want to see if there's... I want to get that great axe. And I want to see if there's any other treasure. But I don't have to. If it turns out to be a bad idea, then I'll just abandon it. There's a cat. Oh, okay. I assumed it was a cat assassin fighting us, but it's actually Umuyan. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But one of the unique cat warriors. A jeweled chest is really interesting. I want to open it, but I don't want to like open it and then have a needle confuse me and then be attacked by these cat warriors. Can we corner him? This guy might be a bit of a pain to take out. His arrows are not doing that much damage. But if we can't corner him, we don't have a lot of way to handle him, because we don't have Song of Challenge or anything like that. We could take like quickness and run him down, but it doesn't seem... Even though we have 6 quickness potions, I don't really want to use them. Okay, I think we're fine to open it now, so... Ring of Accuracy, Ring of Grace. Ring of Accuracy is good for sure. But I guess I feel like at this point in the game, +1 Ring of Accuracy, although it's useful, we're gonna, for so many enemies, we're gonna need to swap it out for some kind of resistance. Oh, this is a staff of treasures. Yeah. That's pretty interesting. That's good to have. You don't always find one of these. They're pretty rare. So there's a shadow cloak on this level. But we don't want a shadow cloak because it's gonna increase our, or it's gonna decrease our light level. So we don't really want that. There's an unidentified potion here. And there's a special Mithril Horselet. So that we want. I guess we're gonna drop this Staff of Understanding because we have 2 of them. Let's just use it. We will use it to identify these staves. So even though we already know what the staff is, using the Staff of Understanding on it will tell us how many charges it has left. So let's drop that Staff of Understanding. Let's pick up the Frost Ring, and let's make our way over to that Mithril Corselet. Something reduced our strength, and it must have been something I wonder if those ghost enemies do it. I didn't realize that they do that. That's my mistake. Dragons are they don't have the highest morale, so sometimes they will run away, and that's what happened there. Let's see if we can get some shots on them. If we'd been singing Slaying, we might have taken out the Drake before they could run, but that's okay. Again, let's see if we can corner this. He's one of those that's gonna slip away. Is there anywhere on the map where we can corner him? The other problem with taking quickness potion to try to fight him is that it might not be enough. Like, we might not actually kill him completely during the duration of the potion. I just wanted to see if I killed the Drake there, if he ran. Yeah, he ran. There we go. We took him out. How much health do they have? 10d4. Yeah, probably quite a bit. Yeah, we can get. Oh, so one thing we might be able to do is sometimes you can kind of like get them into a loop where they have to walk past you. Every like third or fourth turn. Maybe we can get him into a corner and get him into a loop. So if we go up and down, he goes up and down. If we attack him, he'll probably go down. Down and to the right. Yeah. Very annoying. We could just try to shoot him. I don't want to be like wasting so many turns. Let's just try to shoot him. We'll shoot each other. And we might be able to, I mean, because our armor is better. But our archery is so bad. We have to do something about this guy. So I don't really know what to do about him, other than just drink the quickness and see if we can take him out. He's very fast, even when we've taken quickness. Well, I guess, yeah, he's moving even faster than we are. It's funny too, because I'm not even like worried about getting hurt. Yeah, we're not really doing like nearly enough damage. Okay, we trapped him. Well, that was extremely annoying. It usually isn't quite that annoying, but in that case, yeah, in that case it was very annoying. So let's look at these guys. Yep, okay. They can touch to reduce grace. They're fairly weak. So I guess I've just never really worried that much about them. We just use that potion of grace, restore our grace. Now, man, we are like just swimming in stabs of understanding. We have this Horn of Terror. I think we're actually going to drop the Horn of Terror because I just like having understanding, and I feel like there are going to be a lot of situations where we don't have a lot of voice, because we're going to be singing either staunching or slaying, ideally, if we remember. So we're not gonna have enough voice necessarily to use. We're slowed because we because of our encumbrance. we'll just take the Herb of Restoration. Yeah, I absolutely should have realized that. We're singing freedom to get rid of that web. We're gonna close the door on this serpent. I don't feel like fighting that serpent. Yeah, so that makes sense. That explains that. Good to know. You can see as we attack this thing, we don't do a single point of damage to it. So our objective right now is to get to that mithril corselet. That was up here. Yep. And like, you never know. It could be an artifact or something. Beligwath, Balrog of Shadow. I think we will go ahead and take Bane Rauko now. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else we want to take at the moment. And I don't think there is. I think right now we're going to spend it. We should have been spending our experience. It's been sitting there, but we are going to spend it on alien evasion. And then we're going to go ahead and fight this guy. I don't have a great feeling for how strong he is, honestly. So for now, we're just going to fight him without buffing. And we're going to see how it goes. Let's take a look at him. He can hit to burn. Okay, whip to disarm. 90 health, 44 defense, so very low defense actually. Doing a fair amount of damage to him actually. But since he can hit the burn, we'll put on the Ring of Frost instead of the Ring of Warmth. That will add to our resistance. And yes, so far we're having no problem whatsoever. Yeah, that was fine. Another Herb of Restoration, so we got that back. Now we have this greatsword. I'd like to see what it does. Blind. And just getting blinded a lot. The thing is, Keen Senses doesn't help you with blinding. This is actually interesting. Focused attack gives you a bonus of half your perception score to your attacks if you pass the previous turn, because we're going to be passing turns to try to get our free attack on Polar Mastery. So let's just drop something. We'll pick up the sword. It's a great sword. Let's just identify it. Final rest. Okay. So it's slaying 4 undead. And then we have this great axe. Let's just identify it as well. Great Axe of the Firebeards. That's pretty cool. The Great Axe of the Firebeards, resistance to fire, speeds your regen. I think what we're actually going to do is we're going to drop the Great Axe of the Firebeards, and we're going to keep this Great Sword of Final Rest. The reason we're going to do that is that it's a heavy weapon. If we need to do something like fight against something that resists criticals, we can use it. And I'm kind of curious about attempting to fight Wraiths with it, because it is a final rest weapon. So it should give us an additional point of an additional dice, sorry, against the Wraiths. Oh, I did not realize that this video, I've been checking the time, but I've not been checking for the past 10 minutes, and I didn't realize that we had gotten to 54 minutes. So we are going to go ahead and stop. We made a fair amount of progress. we almost completely explored the 750 feet floor. Our min depth is still 750 feet, and we had a very exciting time, almost dying, because we jumped into a chasm. So let's identify this nice piece of armor first, just because I want to see what it does. I'm excited for it. Hopefully it's good. Let's put it on. Okay, Mithril Corselet of Protection. What's funny about it is because it's lighter. I think we're gonna lose a point of protection from heavy armor use, so we have to offset the additional protection from the protection brand with the loss of protection from the lower weight in relation to the heavy armor use ability. It's -2 2d5, and our other one is -3 2d4. So we're up +19 evasion, 8 to 29. And if we put the other male corselet on, we're 18, 8 to 29. Okay, so we'll put the mithril on. It increases our evasion by 1, and it increases our to hit by 1. So not like the craziest, most exciting piece of armor that we could have found, but pretty good actually, just in a nice quiet way. With these Kemenrauko, just as a last thing for this video, I don't think I'm even going to fight them. I just wanted to see if I could very quickly explore the rest of the floor, but there are going to be some monsters to fight, so we'll stop the episode. But just as a point before I go, the last thing is that we did get trapped by these Kemenrauko last time. So I think what we're going to do this time, first of all, we're going to put on our Ring of Venom's End because we're fighting werewolves. We're going to step backwards even though they get free hits. And we're going to fight them out in the open so that we don't get surrounded by rubble or surrounded by walls with these Kemenrauko. If we fight them out in the open like this, then we can avoid that. And because we have Rauko Bane, we should be in a better place to handle them. Okay. I think we're good now. Thanks for staying with me for this longer video. Thanks for watching in general. Really appreciate it as always, and I'll see you next time.